Hey, welcome to this video. My name is Adam. I built a 7-figure social media marketing agency, and I'm going to walk you through some of the things I wish I knew before I started, that if you're considering starting or you've recently started an agency, you should probably know. So I started watching content about social media marketing agencies, or what we call SMMA, back in 2018. I was coming into my final year in college. I was thinking, what am I going to do when I graduate? And I really liked the idea of social media marketing. I had done some things in the past like drop shipping, a bit of e-commerce. I built up some like theme pages, posting memes on Twitter. And so I'd used a little bit of social media, done a little bit of marketing, not at a very high level at all, but I could see, hey, I'm kind of interested in this stuff. But more importantly, I could see you could make money with it, because the interest alone didn't get me into social media marketing. It was the money. Of course, a lot of people do this to make good money. Now, I never started in 2018. Like, I watched videos on YouTube. I did not start. I got a logo for myself. I built out a basic website. I never actually started to get clients. That's my point. I procrastinated. I spent a lot of time on the wrong things, feeling kind of semi-productive, feeling like every day I was getting a little bit closer to being able to get clients, but I never actually did the things that would get me clients, purely out of fear. I was just scared to start. So in 2019, when I graduated college, I finally started. That was kind of the stimulus I need, the kick up the ass to say, all right, man, you got to do this thing. And so I just went all in. I decided this has to work. I'm not going to get a job. And if this doesn't work, I'll make it work. Simple as that. That was the mindset. And so across 3 or so years, I built a 7-figure agency. Hey, we collected well over $1 million in revenue. We served hundreds of clients, and I learned a lot about what to do and what not to do if I was to do it all over again. So I'm going to give you those lessons now, so that again, if you're just starting, you know what to start from. And if you've already started, that you can maybe course correct if you've gone down and made some of these mistakes already. Lesson number 1 is to give your clients and to sell them what they want, but deliver to them what they actually need. So I'll walk you through an example of mine. Megan, one of my students, I actually have an interview with her on YouTube as well that you can watch if you search her name on my channel. And there was a point in time where Megan struggled. She's now doing incredibly well, but there was a point in time where I remember we had a coaching call. She had taken 19 calls with people in the construction industry in the UK, and I think she closed one of them. So 1 out of 19, it's not too good. And when I say calls, these weren't cold calls. These were people that she had spoken to, maybe on Instagram or a different platform, arranged a meeting with to actually sit down together and talk about how social media marketing might make sense for their business. And then they had their call. So 1 out of 19 is not good. The problem was she wasn't selling them what they wanted and then giving them what they needed. For example, she would speak to one company and they would say, hey, I just want more inquiries. Others would say, hey, I just want somebody to manage my social media. Just take the burden off my hands. Others would say, hey, we just want to show before and afters, right? We want to have, when a customer comes to me, that I can just direct them to my social media and show the before and afters of the projects we've done. And so essentially they all wanted slightly different things, but things that could all be achieved through social media management, which was her service. So now when she would speak to business owners, if they said, hey, I want more leads, she would say, great, I can get you more leads through social media management. If somebody said, hey, I want to spend less time working in my business and less time on little things like social media, she would say, great, I can save you time by managing your social media. Somebody else who wanted to show those before and afters and then increase their conversions, so that when they had leads on the phone saying, hey, we want to see what you guys do because I want to work with you, that the Instagram or the social media would actually really represent the business well, show those before and afters. So now, again, she could say, hey, great, I can help you boost your conversion rate by posting this type of content for you on your social media. So now what she was doing is she wasn't just selling social media management. She was selling them what they wanted. Because what they wanted was an outcome. They wanted a specific result which could be attained through social media. So see how there's a difference? There's a difference between saying, hey, I'll just do your social media and I'll get you this result that you really want, that you're talking about, through social media. Lesson number 2 is to try and avoid the stagnation trap. You see, most people, when they start this business, they're doing it on the side. So they've got a full-time job where they're in college. They've got maybe 2 hours a day, sometimes less, that they're putting into this business. And with that time, they're trying to get clients, serve clients, do absolutely everything, and then keep growing. Naturally, most people get stuck at a certain level. They get to 3,000 per month, they've got a handful of clients, they're doing most of the work themselves, hence they don't have time to actually continue to get new clients. Worse yet, they might have 3 clients and they're doing everything for the client. They have the intention of outsourcing and hiring other people to do a lot of the work, but they've actually maxed themselves out. Like, they literally do not have any extra minutes in the day. So now even having the time to hire somebody, they don't have. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're only ever at 80% capacity. You should never be at 100% capacity, right? That just means you're working every hour that you physically have possible, and you're just working on serving your current clients. If that's the case, you are going to get stuck, because this is what it normally looks like. When you start and you're at zero, you put 100% of your time into getting clients. Then you get a couple of clients and you start to shift. You put some time into getting clients, sometimes into managing clients. That's where a lot of people mess up. They get their first client, they stop trying to get new clients, and they just work with their one client. Big no-no, wouldn't recommend. And then naturally, the balance between marketing, trying to get new clients, and service delivery, serving clients, just starts to skew. So it goes from 100% marketing, 0% on service delivery because you have no clients, and that just starts to slowly go like this until eventually it's like this. And you've done the complete opposite. Now all your time is here on service delivery, serving your clients, and you have no time to get new clients. Now you, my friend, are stuck. So you need to make sure, again, number one, that you get to max 80% capacity. Number two, you need to make sure you're outsourcing early. Number three, you need to make sure that when you get a client, you don't just stop trying to get new clients. I get it. You want to just get a client in, take it slow, get good results with them. But if you take your finger off the pulse, you stop doing the thing that got you that first client, you're going to get out of the practice of marketing. And once you lose that, it's very difficult to get back on track. So you need to make sure, again, think of this balance between marketing and service delivery, that this doesn't go from one end to the other, that it needs to always be balancing somewhere around here. You should always be putting time into both of them, but never all of your time into just one, apart from when you're starting, because you're at zero, you don't have clients. Of course, you need to just work on getting clients. Lesson number 3 is to actually figure out what you want with this business, because there's 2 routes to scale. So if you want to make $5,000 a month with social media marketing, you can DIY, do it all yourself, keep all the revenue as profit, everything you make you keep, and you have full control over everything. Or there's route 2 where you hire other people to do it with you. You make less profit, okay, because at $5,000 a month, you might be netting $4,000 a month because you're paying $1,000 a month to team members. But then you could also, with that model, make $10,000 per month and keep $8,000 as profit. So one, of course, is more scalable than the other. So what you need to do when you're starting is make sure that you know what do you actually want long term. If you want a lifestyle business, right? Let's say you're working a job right now, you're making $3,000 to $4,000 per month. You want to basically make enough to make the same. So you want to make maybe $3,000, $4,000, maybe $5,000 per month, give yourself a little bit extra. And then you want to quit your job and just have a good lifestyle. As in, you want to work a couple hours a day, work with a handful of clients, not have a huge amount of stress to deal with, and then just enjoy life, travel, go to Asia, whatever. Then DIY might make a lot of sense for you. But if you want a lot of time freedom, as in you want to work just 2 hours a day and do whatever the hell you want for the rest of your day, you're probably going to need to do route 2, which is actually building a team, hiring some people to do the work with you. And if you want to build a massive business, you want to build this into 6 figures a year, you want to build this into 7 figures a year, you want to go beyond that, then yeah, the DIY approach is never going to get you there. You're always going to have to go with the approach of hiring other people if that's your goal. And what I want you to do is just get clear on what that is for you, because the goal of this video isn't to tell you that you should hire loads of people, build a big team, and scale this into the biggest company you can possibly think of. That's not your goal. If that is your goal, great. But for a lot of you, that's not. And so the biggest trap getting into an online business like this is following somebody else's goal. And trust me, I've done it. I've followed other people's goals because I thought that's what I should do, or that's what success was. The reality is the business you build should be the business that you like to run, or at least, even if you don't love it, that you've built it in a way where it allows you to live a good life. You don't have to love your business, but if you love the things that it gives you and the life that it allows you to live, fantastic. You've done a great job. So yeah, take it from me. I've spent too much time chasing vanity metrics and revenue goals that deep down I didn't want. I just wanted to hit a certain number to say, hey, cool, I can hit that number, because I saw other people do it and I thought that's kind of what you were meant to do. Now, these lessons would have helped me start sooner back in 2019. It would have allowed me to avoid a lot of the scaling hurdles I ran into between 2019 and 2021. And it would have given me more peace, knowing that I was building something that I actually wanted. So to recap, that is what I would do if I was starting again with a social media marketing agency, and what you should probably keep in mind as you start or continue on with this journey.